At my wife's birthday brunch, I brought roses, her favorite perfume, and a handwritten letter I spent hours on. But later, I saw everything I gave her shoved in a trash bag behind the garage. Her friends laughed like it was a joke. So, I left early and did something none of them expected. By the next morning, she was calling nonstop, begging me to answer. Chapter 1. The Gift She Threw Away. Saturdays were always her favorite. Sunlight spilled through the kitchen window as I stood quietly wrapping the final ribbon around the gift box. Inside were things that mattered to her, or so I thought. A small bottle of her favorite Jo Malone perfume, a delicate gold chain with her birthstone, and a letter handwritten 4 pages long. That letter, I poured my soul into it. I wrote about the first time I saw her in that red sundress at the lake. How she laughed with her whole body. How I knew somehow she'd change my life. I wrote about the little things. How she curled her toes when she was cold. How she'd hum to herself while cooking. How her eyes crinkled when she pretended not to smile at my bad jokes. I told her I still saw her even after all these years. Still chose her. Still loved her. I sealed the envelope with wax, just like the ones her father used to send her letters when she was little. The brunch was at her sister's house. Their backyard was dressed up like a Pinterest dream. Pastel balloons, mimosa bar, brunch buffet with gold-rimmed plates. All her friends were there, dressed to the nines, loud, laughing, tipsy. I handed her the box with a smile. She looked surprised, maybe even touched for a second. She kissed my cheek distractedly and set it aside. No one said thank you, no one even noticed. By 2 p.m. I was invisible. They were talking about vacations, gossiping about coworkers, flirting with the bartender her sister hired just for fun. She laughed at stories I didn't understand anymore. Laughed like I wasn't even there. So, I left. I didn't say goodbye. Just got in the car, heart heavy, and drove home. Later that evening, I stepped outside to take the trash out and saw a black plastic bag sitting behind the garage, half open. Inside, the letter still sealed, the roses crushed, the perfume leaking into the torn tissue paper, and the necklace tangled in a paper towel like trash. I stood there for a long time. No anger, just cold, quiet clarity. And at that moment, I realized something. She didn't forget. She discarded. Chapter 2. Silence speaks louder than screams. The next morning was quiet. Unnaturally quiet. No mimosas, no brunch chatter, just the ticking clock above the kitchen sink and the faint hum of the fridge. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at my phone. No message, no apology, but I wasn't expecting one. She came home late the night before, tipsy and giggling while I pretended to be asleep. I heard her toss her heels into the closet and sigh dramatically when she saw I'd cleaned the kitchen. Like I was the housekeeper, not the man who wrote her a letter she didn't bother to open. By noon, she still hadn't mentioned the gift, so I asked, "Did you like the letter?" She looked up from her phone and blinked. "What letter?" My stomach tightened. "The one in the gift box? The one I gave you yesterday." Her eyes flickered for a second. Just one heartbeat. Then she shrugged. "Oh, that?" She gave a half smile. "Yeah, it was sweet." She was lying, and I knew it because it was still in the trash bag. I had checked quietly that morning. She never even opened the envelope. I didn't argue, didn't accuse her of anything. Instead, I cleaned the kitchen again, loaded the dishwasher, took out the trash, and while the sun set outside, I opened my laptop and started making quiet plans. Called a realtor, booked a storage unit, created a new email, researched lawyers. I wasn't angry, I wasn't heartbroken, just done. Done being invisible in a home I built. Done loving someone who forgot what love meant. Later that night, she laughed in the living room with her friends on a video call, drinking wine, gossiping. I walked past her unnoticed, like a ghost. But ghosts don't stay forever. Sometimes they vanish and take everything with them. Chapter 3. The Vanishing Point. I waited one more day, not because I had doubts, but because I wanted to be surgical with my exit. Quiet, precise, irrefutable. The next morning, while she was still asleep, I sat at the kitchen table with a cup of black coffee and made 5 phone calls. My bank to transfer all remaining funds from our joint account, into my personal trust. The storage unit to confirm the movers were on schedule for 2 p.m. The realtor to finalize the discreet listing of the property under my name, only thanks to the prenup she forgot existed. My employer to approve a month-long remote work period starting immediately. My attorney to drop off the envelope I'd prepared. Every step had been planned with care over 3 silent weeks. Each call was a brick in the road to freedom. By noon, she left to get her nails done. I watched her pull out of the driveway, music blaring, sunglasses on, no idea what was coming. The second her car disappeared down the street, I moved. I packed only what was mine, the essentials, the valuables, the irreplaceables. Photographs, heirlooms, documents, my guitar, my laptop. Everything else, she could keep it or lose. It didn't matter. The movers came right on time, professional, fast. Not a single item from her side touched. No drama, no messages, just silence. At 5:45 p.m., I left a simple note on the fridge. You threw me away with the rest of the trash. I'm just honoring your decision. M. Then I turned off my phone. I checked into a quiet Airbnb an hour out of town. Nothing fancy, just peaceful, no calls, no guilt. She wouldn't see the change until she pulled into the driveway and realized the keypads had been reprogrammed. The Wi-Fi was disconnected, the fridge was empty, and I was gone. I imagined her confusion, the rising panic, the realization that something permanent had shifted. But I didn't smile. This wasn't revenge. This was liberation. And I wasn't done yet. Because what she didn't know was that brunch wasn't the first betrayal. Chapter 4. When trash starts talking. By the next morning, my phone had 42 missed calls and 18 unread voicemails, all from her. Then came the texts. Where are you? Why isn't my key working? What the hell is going on, Mark? Is this a joke? It wasn't. I sat quietly on the back porch of the Airbnb, sipping tea while the early light spilled across the forest. I didn't reply because now the real unraveling would begin. Not by my hand, but by her own circle. That morning, her friend Carla, the one who laughed loudest at brunch, posted a video on her private story. It was of them tossing my gifts in the trash. What Carla didn't know, she tagged the wrong account. Mine. I downloaded it. Then I uploaded it to a private folder along with a few others I'd collected over the years. Her drunken rants, her lies to her coworkers, her flirty voice memos sent to men who weren't me. Her text where she once said, I only married Mark because he was the safe choice. She wanted to play social games. I had a board and a full set of pieces. I didn't blast her online. I wasn't interested in petty flame wars. Instead, I sent one email anonymously to the CEO of her company, including one clip of her joking about how she called in sick just to get spa days covered by insurance. She was a senior manager. She'd just applied for a promotion, and she'd done it using me as a stable family man reference. Oops! 3 hours later, she was placed on immediate review, suspended pending investigation. Her text turned frantic. Mark, I know you're upset. I messed up. Please, let's talk. This isn't like you. You're scaring me. Please just tell me what you want. But it wasn't about what I wanted anymore. It was about what she had taught me. That love isn't real when respect is disposable. That even a handwritten letter folded with care could be thrown in the trash without a second thought. She made her choices. Now, I was making mine. One calculated step at a time. Chapter 5. The goodbye she'll never get. It was a rainy Sunday when I finally turned my phone back on. After days of ignoring her calls, her voice messages had turned from angry to tearful, then desperate. Mark, please just let me explain. I didn't mean to throw your letter away. It was a stupid moment. I wasn't thinking. The girls, they told me to do it. I thought it was funny. I swear. Please come home. I'll fix it. I'll do anything. But it wasn't the letter. It wasn't the brunch. It was everything. The years of being unseen, unheard, undervalued. I'd built my life around loving her. She built hers on mocking that love. So I didn't send a dramatic reply. I didn't curse her out. I didn't even say goodbye. Instead, I made one final move, the kind that couldn't be reversed. I contacted our landlord, transferred the lease into her name alone, then called the utilities and disconnected everything I paid for. I removed my name from all shared accounts. Netflix, Amazon, even Spotify. She wouldn't hear silence because I ghosted her. She'd hear silence because I no longer existed in her world. I left her with what she wanted: attention from friends, admiration from strangers, and total control. But without me, none of those things had foundation. She messaged again that night. "Everyone's asking why you're gone." They said, "You're the only reason we ever seemed like a real couple." "I'm sorry, Mark. I didn't know what I had. Please come home." I turned off the phone again. Some stories don't end with revenge. Some end with peace. And that, I've learned, is the most painful punishment for someone who never valued it in the first place. Epilogue: The Sound of Peace. Months passed. The world felt quieter. Not empty, just honest. I rented a small apartment near the coast. Nothing extravagant, just sunlight through open windows and the hum of waves at night. My mornings were spent walking along the pier, coffee in hand, finally feeling like I wasn't living someone else's life. At first, I half expected her to find me, to show up with tears, apologies, or promises, but she never did. Instead, word spread through mutual friends. She'd lost her job after the HR investigation. Her friends drifted away once her laughter stopped being useful. And she sold the car I bought her just to pay rent. I didn't smile when I heard it. I didn't gloat. Because real revenge isn't about winning. It's about no longer needing to fight. One evening, I pulled out a notebook, the same one I used to write her birthday letter. This time, the page wasn't for her. It was for me. You were never invisible. You were just standing in the wrong light. I closed the notebook and stepped outside. The sunset painted the water gold, soft and quiet, the way peace should feel. Behind me, my phone buzzed once. Unknown number. I didn't look, didn't need to. Because the truth is, I'd already said everything I needed to say, and she'd already heard the one message she never expected: silence. Was this revenge perfectly justified, or should the storm have raged harder? Drop your verdict below. I read every single one. Hit like if you crave justice and share this story with someone who needs its fire. Subscribe to Walter's story, because here betrayals don't sleep. They hunt their owners. Every shadow hides a reckoning. Every mask breaks and every betrayal is answered. Stay sharp, stay unbroken, stay tuned.